we'll start by coming down on our mat. And we'll just start by bringing our hands in between our legs and just rolling our spine all the way down. And arriving on the floor with our hands nice and wide, our neck nice and long, and just feeling the mat between our feet, pushing into the mat. And then just bringing awareness into our breath. Breathing in slowly through our nose. And taking a cleansing breath out through our mouth. And again, breathing in through our nose, breathing the air all the way down our spinal column, filling up the belly, filling up the rib cage, and then releasing any tension as we release all the air. And a third breath in the same way. Just arriving here, letting anything go that happened in the day, so we can be present with our yoga practice today. And then keeping our knees bent, we're just going to bring our knees to one side into a little twist and looking over the opposite shoulder. Breathing in and again breathing out. And then using the next inhale to come back up to center. And then exhaling, going over to the opposite side. And breathing in and releasing any tension. And on the next inhale, come back up. And then on the exhale, we again drop our knees. And then just move fluidly in between these two movements. Inhaling as our knee comes up and exhaling as our knees flop to each side. Just go at your own pace, focusing on the movement and the breath. So we just awaken the lower back, open up the hips. And then returning back to center and grabbing hold of both of our feet, and we come into a happy baby. So we're bringing our hands to the outside of our feet, bending at the knees, and the hands will be in between our legs. So we're just like in this baby position, baby's lying their cot, and just like play around with the movement. So pushing into your hands with your feet. You'll feel like the knees are coming in towards your elbows. And you can just like rock around from side to side, feeling your spine nice and straight against the floor. You can even rock over to one side, bending the knee and straightening one leg. And then rolling back over to the other side, bending the knee more and straightening one leg. Or doing whatever feels comfortable for you. And again, focusing on the breath, breathing in, trying to fill up the belly and the rib cage, and slowly start to slow our breath down. And we're slowly releasing our feet. Bringing our feet nice and long, and our spine nice and long against the mat. And then we're going to bring our right foot up to the sky, pressing our foot away from our body and bringing our hands behind our hamstrings. So one leg is long against the mat and one leg is long up, facing the roof. And just flexing our feet, bringing our toes towards our face. Feeling the nice hamstring stretch. Feeling our spine nice and long against the mat as we do this. And then play around with a few little ankle twists. And spreading our toes out nice and wide, a bit of toe yoga. And also continuing our deep breathing. Then bringing our leg out to the side. So it comes out wide to our mat, and then making big circles, bringing the leg down to the end of the mat, and then circling back up. So doing a few big circles with our leg coming out to the side, all the way back up. You might want to bend the grounded leg if that feels better for you. So just experiment with what feels better on your lower back. Nice circular motions, connecting the breath with the movement. And then we bring our foot back up to the sky, and then bend at the knee, and we hug our knee into our chest. And again, you can extend the other leg nice and long against your mat here. And then we're going to twist over, so our knee comes across our body, and we look over the opposite shoulder, so we're coming into a supine twist. Feeling a nice stretch in the lower back and the top of our shoulder as we look over the opposite shoulder. Again, breathing into the twist. Using the hand to rest on the knee and letting gravity push the knee further over to deepen the stretch on every out breath. Then on the next in-breath, use your hand to press your knee up, extend the leg nice and long, and then slowly lower it down to the ground. And then we bring our left foot up to the sky. So pressing up and away from the body, pressing up into the ceiling, and our hands come behind our leg on our hamstrings. We can softly pull our legs slightly towards us, but without forcing. And again, spreading out the toes nice and wide, doing a few circles with our foot. Maybe playing around with flexing our foot, bringing our toes towards our face and our ankle further up to the roof. Just playing around with what feels good in your leg and your lower back. Breathing into any tension. And noticing how when we bring awareness into the breath, we can go deeper into a pose and we can relax our muscles more. And then option to bend the other leg and have that foot grounded, or to extend it. So just play around with what feels best in your lower back. And we're going to again extend our leg wide and then down to the back of the mat, making some big circular motions, opening up the hip. And connecting the breath with the movement. Maybe you bring the foot across your body, just doing whatever feels natural. Breathing into any clicks. And then bringing the foot back up to the roof. Stretching away one more time, then bending at the knee, and our hands are placed on our shin, and we pull our knee in towards our left shoulder. Breathing in, lengthening our spine, and on the exhale, we twist our body over. A knee comes across our body, and we look over the opposite shoulder, the left shoulder. using the hand to add a bit of weight to help the twist. And again, breathing deeply into the lower back and the hips. And then on your next inhale, using the hand to help your knee back up, stretching up to the roof one more time and extending both feet long. And just lying here for a moment, feeling how our lower back feels, noticing how our hips feel. Now bringing both legs up to the roof this time. So both legs together, reaching up again, pushing away. I'm going to use our hands just slightly under our bottom, so to give our lower back a tiny bit of support. We're going to start waking up the core, and we're going to drop our right leg down on the inhale, and on the exhale, bringing it back up. And then we do the left. Inhaling as we drop the left foot, and so just hover above the ground, and then we exhale, we come back up. And again, try the other one. And if this feels comfortable on your lower back, you can play around with bringing your hands wide so they don't need to be under your bottom for support. But again, see how it feels, and we're trying to keep our spine nice and long and flat against the mat at all times. So you don't need to go all the way down. Just bring awareness into when our back starts to arch, and that's the point where we need to come back up. And then again, bring your hands back to your bottom if they're not there, and we're going to try and do both legs, dropping both down at the same time. And we might not be able to go down as far, that's okay. Just find that point where you feel your back starting to arch, and we want to stay flat all the way down, and then that's when we come back up. And again, if this is comfortable, you can experiment with bringing your hands wide again. Synchronizing the breath with the movement. Feeling the shape of the core. This time we're going to stay down, so dropping the feet to the point, and we're going to start crossing our feet over each other, so it's like scissors, crossing over, and continuing the breath. Try and count to 10, and don't forget to breathe. Continue nice deep breathing as we build up a bit of heat in the core, and then we come back up, and slowly dropping our feet and hugging our knees into our chest, just rocking from side to side, massaging the sacrum, trying to slow our breath back down. And then hands come to the knees, and do some nice little rotations of the knees, nice little circles, massaging the lower back. And then bringing our feet back up. So now our feet are going to be in a 90-degree angle. So our knees are bent and our feet are facing the end of the room. And we're going to bring our hands behind our head. So we're going to cradle our head with our interlaced fingers. Shoulders are open and wide, flat on the ground. We're just going to inhale, looking at the roof. Inhale, just like hover our head. Shaking a tiny bit at the core. And then exhale, we come back down. And one more time like that. Lifting up, looking at the roof, just to protect our neck. And then we exhale. Now inhale, coming up. This time we're going to cross our left elbow across our body. So we're doing a little twist, and then we come back to center and we drop. And then we inhale, and we cross our other elbow across our body, back to center, and then down. So we go lift, cross, back, and then down. And again, to the other side. And you can do 2 more of these on each side, or if you'd like a tiny bit more, we can drop the knee at the same time. So dropping the leg to the side that we're bringing our elbow. So as our right elbow comes across, we drop our left leg long, and then we come back up. And doing nice and slow movements as we do this. The slower we do it, the harder it actually is. And last one, whenever you've done an even amount on both sides, resting back down, and again bringing our hands to our knees, and some nice little rocks on our sacrum as we return to our breath. Now, rocking long ways along our spine, back and forth, do 3 or 4, rock and rolling, giving our spine a nice little massage. And then we're going to arrive in a tabletop position. So crossing our legs, coming forward, and we come into a tabletop position. Hands directly under our shoulders and knees under our hips. Finding grounding motion, inhale, and then we're going to just start sending our hips to the side and then back towards our heels and then back up. So you're just doing big circular movements with your hips, opening up the hips, nice big circles, remembering the breath, opening up the hips, just noticing if there's any tightness. And then we're going to reverse the other way. And then coming back to stillness in our tabletop. Lifting up the left leg up to the side. So we're just like lifting up the knee to the side of the mat. That's it. And then pushing the leg back and then coming down. So we're just doing some really big circular motions with the hip. So it's kind of like we're walking backwards over a gate. Oh, and then you can experiment with also going the other way. So extending the leg long, then bending at the knee, coming around. And then finally, leaving the leg nice and long, our toes touch to the end of the mat. And then looking forward, we're going to lift up the leg and bend at the knee. And we're going to inhale, lift up the knee slightly more, and then we exhale, we're going to curl our knee in towards our chest on the exhale. And again, we inhale, coming up, bending the knee, our foot comes back, trying to bring it towards our head, but not all the way. And then we exhale and come back and crunch. And one more time, inhaling, dropping the belly, looking forward, our knee comes up, and then we exhale into the chest. And then we extend that leg nice and long, and our bent knee, that is going to come to the side of the mat. So we're going to just swivel that around to the side. Our other leg is still long, and we lift up our right hand to the sky. So we come into a supported side plank. Sit. Feeling grounded in our left hand, and our right hand coming up, reaching up to the sky. And we can bring that hand above our heads. So now we've got a nice long stretch along the side of our body, and also the option to lift up our legs. So we can see how that feels as well. So now we're just balancing on our shin and our left hand. And at any point you can just go back to a supported side plank, that's okay. And if you'd like a tiny bit more, we can slowly bring our elbow in towards our knee. Into a little crunch again. So inhaling, stretching out, expanding our body, and on the exhale we come in, nice and slowly, bringing our elbow towards our knee. And do 3 of these. Or we can just stay in the supported side plank, that's also okay. And finally, extending our body long. And then balancing, we're going to try and bring that back leg in towards the front of the mat. And then lower the right hand down. Our back foot swivels now, again, long ways along the mat. And so now we're in a low lunge. Inhaling, reaching forward. And exhaling. Into a runner's lunge. And feeling the stretch underneath our leg. Breathing into the hamstrings and the back of the hip. And again, coming forward, inhaling and exhaling. And one last time, inhale. And this time we're going to bring our hands up, inhaling. Into a low lunge, hands come up, placing our hands back down, and we step back into our first downward facing dog. I'm just pedaling out the feet here, bending one leg at a time, straightening one leg, and swapping it over. Just focusing on bringing our chest in towards our thighs. And then lowering our knees back down, and we come back to a tabletop position. And then again, pushing through our hands, we're going to lift up our left leg to the side. It's kind of like you are a dog peeing on the side. And then pushing the leg back. And we're doing some nice big circles. So you should be doing the opposite leg to what you did last time. Nice big circles with your hip. Reversing the circle. And then finally leaving the leg long against the back of the mat and pressing into our heel. Nice calf stretch here. Bouncing back and forth. And then lifting up the leg, pressing into the hands, and then we bend the knee and our foot comes up. Yeah, inhaling, looking forward, dropping the belly as we lift our knees slightly more, and then we exhale and we bring the knee in towards our chest, and we crunch. And again, inhaling, slow, mindful movements in between these two positions. And a third time. And then we extend the leg long again. And the leg that's bent, that's going to swivel to the side of the mat. And we're going to lift up our left hand, reach up to the sky, into a supported side plank. That's it. And then finding balance between our hand and our grounded shin bone as we bring our hand above our head and we try and lift up the foot as well. So balancing here. And we inhale and we expand our body, reaching and pushing away with our foot. And then on the exhale, our elbow comes towards our knee. And you can go back to the supported side plank at any time. Oh, we're just building up a bit more heat here. And then we'll return, extending long, placing the foot back down and trying to turn it so it comes in between our hands at the front of the mat. Our back foot will swivel long along the mat. Now we're in our low lunge, looking forward. And on the exhale, we send our hips backwards towards our feet and feel a nice stretch in our front leg. Moving through the movements, inhaling, coming forward, and on the exhale, coming back. And one more time, inhaling, coming forward, and exhaling, sending the hips back. And the next one, inhaling, coming forward, lifting the hands up into our low lunge. Then exhaling, placing our hands back down, nice and slowly, framing the foot, and we step back into our down facing dog. Pushing through the hands, finding the connection from our middle finger all the way up our hands and our shoulders up to the top of our hips, bending at the knees quite a lot so that we can bring our chest towards our thighs, and we're just letting our head dangle here, so we're not looking anywhere in particular, we're just letting it drop and release as we hold this pose. Then rolling our body nice and slowly, pushing up through the top of the back, coming onto our tippy toes as we come forward into our plank. Then lowering our knees and we roll our body down and rest flat on the floor. Hands come wide to the outside of our mat and we slowly just push up, inhaling as we stretch up into the top of the spine, and we exhale as we lower back down. So nice little spine rolls, inhaling as we come up, rolling our shoulders behind our back, trying to drop our shoulders away from our ears. One more time, rolling up and rolling down. Bringing our hands back in towards our sides, curling the toes, and we send our hips back into a child's pose. And then into a down facing dog. Then bringing the left foot into the center of the mat, lifting up the right, and we come into a three-legged dog, so we're coming nice and high onto our left foot. And then as we exhale, we will bring the foot in between the front of our hands. And then we can do this next bit either in a low lunge with our knee dropped, or we can come into our high lunge. So it's up to you what option you take. We can do this with low or high. So if we're doing low, you're just going to stay here. And if you're taking the high lunge option, we're going to bring our hands wide, and we call this cactus arms. So we're just bending it like this, sit. And we're going to inhale, straighten the front leg, and then we exhale, we come back down. Sit, inhaling, coming up, and exhaling, coming back down. Feeling, and you can even drop the back knee a tiny bit more if you want a little bit more work on the bottom leg. And the next time we come up and straighten our front leg, then we're going to bring left hand forward, right hand back, and we come into a twisted lunge. And again, we can come down, we can drop our back leg if we would like to do that, or we can stay in our high lunge. So take the option that's comfortable for you. And remember to smile and breathe deeply. And then turning the front hand, our hand back hand comes down our back of the leg and we reach up. And when this is a reverse twisted high lunge. Then coming back to our hands straight, cartwheeling our hands down and stepping back to our downward facing dog. Slowly rolling our body forward, dropping the knees and rolling our spine down, or you can come with me and try and hug your elbows into the side of the body and lower the front half of your body down in a straight line. This time bringing our hands a bit closer towards our body, and again lifting up and exhaling, releasing our body back down. Doing 2 of these, 2 more, synchronizing the breath with the movement. As we bring our hands closer to our body, we might be able to press up a tiny bit higher, but only go with what is comfortable with your body. Then bringing our hands close under our shoulders, bending the toes as we push our body back through child's pose and then into our downward facing dog. And again, just shaking the head, releasing any tension in our neck and our shoulders. Maybe we rock our hips from side to side. Then bringing our right foot into the center of the mat, and we inhale, we lift up our left foot up into a 3-legged dog, coming onto the balls of our foot, of the right foot, inhaling and then exhaling, placing our left foot in between our hands. And again, we can drop the knee, or we can keep the knee lifted as we come into our lunge. And again, a high lunge or low lunge option, whatever you'd like to do today. And then we bring our hands wide into a cactus. And then inhaling, we straighten our front leg. And we exhale, we bend our front leg. And then drop the back knee slightly without touching the ground if you'd like a tiny bit more heat. Again, changing in between the 2 movements, nice and slowly with control. And exhaling. And on the next inhale, we make our body nice and long, our hands come up. And then we exhale, right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. So opposite hand to our foot. And we come into a twisted lunge, which we can drop the knee for, that's okay. And smile as we breathe deeply. Trying to look over the front middle finger, which is the gaze point, or we call it drishti in yoga, which will help our balance. Dropping the back hand, front hand turns over, and we inhale, we release the hand up to the ceiling. And you can look just over your bottom shoulder or up into your hands. So just do the option that feels comfortable for your neck. Looking up to the sky or down over your shoulder. Breathing deeply as we feel a few wobbles. And then we extend our hands long again, cartwheel our hands down to frame our front foot, and we step back to our downward facing dog. Then rolling our body forward, lowering the knees, and then rolling our body down, or we can lower in one straight line. When we're lowering in one straight line, we need to make sure our elbows come into the side of our body as we lower down. Then hands in close to our body, we're going to inhale and press our body up into a baby cobra. Then rolling the body back down. 2 more of these. Maybe we can push up a tiny bit more. And just remembering to keep our shoulders down, away from our ears. Our hands should stay where they are as we curl our toes. We send our hips backwards and then up into our downward facing dog. And again, stepping our left foot into the center of the mat. Inhale, reach up our right foot. Again, we're in a three-legged dog, but this time we're going to drop our foot over behind our bottom, and we call this scorpion pose. And so we should feel like a nice opening in the hips as we come over, nice and long. And then we're going to step forward again in between both of our feet. Finding our balance, bringing our feet a bit wider to train tracks if you need a bit more balance, and then we inhale, we bring our hands up into our high lunge. And then just playing around with the balance between our front foot and our back foot. You can step the back foot in, or you can just try and bring the weight into our front foot and just start hovering forward. So we're coming into a warrior three. And you can just keep stepping forward and back, trying to lightly drop your back foot. Playing around with the balance here, seeing if we can lightly bring ourselves up and back down. Use your hands to help balance you. Then we're going to stay in our warrior three with our hands down by our sides in aeroplane arms. And then slowly we're going to tip our body back up without our foot touching the ground. Bending the knee, inhaling, bringing our hands up to the roof, and then exhaling, painting our hands and placing our foot back down. And now we're on 2 feet, standing nice and tall as we inhale and we lift up to the sky, and we exhale, we fold forward, touching the earth. We inhale halfway, looking forward, creating a flat back. And again, we exhale, we fold forward. And inhale all the way up, reverse swan dive, reaching up to the ceiling. And then exhale, our hands come into our chest. And then inhaling, our hands reach up again, bending at the knees as we let our hands float down to touch the earth. This time we're going to step both of our feet back into downward facing dog. Our right foot comes into the center of the mat, and we lift our left leg up to the sky. So lifting the left leg nice and high, coming into the ball of the right foot, and our left foot will just come behind our bottom, and we open up our hips into a scorpion. So we're kind of in a three-legged dog with our hip going over. Set. And then inhale, lengthen our leg again, and then on the exhale, looking forward in between our hands to place our foot. And again, we find our balance here. And then get ready to inhale, lift our hands up. So, and then playing around with the balance, and we can bring our foot in if we want to, a tiny bit to do this, or you might be able to just start to float forward on the front foot and come to balance on our left foot. Then slowly placing the right foot back down, bringing our hands up, and then just continuing, trying to change in between these two positions. Wobbling and falling over is okay. And then you might even be able to come into the warrior three, balancing on one foot and holding our arms by our side. And then tipping our body forward, lifting our chest up. Inhaling, bringing our hands up. lifting up the knee and then slowly painting our hands back down and carefully placing down our right foot. Again, standing nice and tall at the top of your mat. Inhaling, reaching up to the sun, and exhaling, folding our body forward, and our chest comes down towards our thighs. This time we're just going to hang here and forward fold, which is really nice for the lower back, just releasing it. Let our head dangle. Shake our head from left to right. You might even like to hold both of our elbows. Then placing our hands either side of our feet, and we're just going to slowly drop our bottom down. And so we're just going to be sitting on our bottom in the middle of the mat. So, our hands come behind our body, pressing up for the chest, looking up to the sun, and then we're going to windshield wiper our knees, again, either side of the mat. So again, just switching our hips from left to right, synchronizing the breath with the movement. And then we come back to center. And one last bit of heat. We're going to come into a boat pose. If you have any lower back problems, then you can just lower your body down and count to 10, slowly coming down. But if your lower back is feeling okay, then we can have our hands on our legs, behind our legs to support, and bring our feet up. So we're just going to balance on our sits bones. And try to have that opening in our chest, just as we did. And then you might even be able to leave your hands out wide. And you might even be able to play around with lengthening the legs as well. So take the option that's good for you. You can still hug in your knees like this to protect your lower back, or touch, or keep them out. And then we're going to slowly lower, lowering down, slowly, 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 and we come down into a longer mat. And bending at the knees, bringing our feet in towards bottom, and try to touch the backs of our heels with the middle finger. That's a good length for us at the moment. And then slowly rolling up our spine, lifting up our hips, pushing up to the top of the room. And then rolling our spine back down. For each vertebrae at a time, rolling the spine back down. And again, rolling the spine back up, peeling each vertebrae off the mat, kind of like a sticker, as we press up with our hips and press into our feet. And then we roll back down. And then right foot comes across our left foot, and we come into a figure 4 position. So our left foot is going to be bent with our foot on the floor, and our right foot comes across. And then we can feed our hand in between our legs and hold the back of the thigh, and slowly bring the knee towards us, and we'll feel a nice stretch in the back of our right hip. Again, breathing in slowly and noticing as we bring awareness into our breath, we can relax into the pose. And then releasing both feet back down, still bent, our hands come wide. And inhale, we start rolling our spine back up. And this time we're going to hold at the top And you can start to shuffle your shoulders underneath, and you might even be able to clasp your hands as well. So we're just going to hold this position up, lifting up, pushing nice and strong through the feet, lifting your hips up to the ceiling, and holding here for a few breaths. And then we'll slowly release, rolling our body back down. This time our left ankle will cross our right leg, then bringing the knee in towards our body and feeding our hands through our legs so they hold onto our hamstrings. And then just be nice and slow with this pose. Feel the nice stretch in the left glutes and hips. Just observe any emotions that come up as we release our hips. So we hold a lot of emotion in our hips. And then releasing both legs back to the ground. Oh. And releasing the legs long. Preparing our body for shavasana. Our palms face up to the sky. Just letting the feet splay out to the side of the mat. Doing any last minute stretches to make yourself comfortable. And allow yourself to have a few minutes of rest on the mat. Bringing awareness into our feet, tensing up our feet, and then releasing and relaxing our feet. And we'll continue in a body scan, coming further up, squeezing our calves, and then releasing and feeling the muscles relax. And I feel heavy against the mat. Traveling further up our legs, tensing our thighs and our hamstrings, and then releasing and letting the muscles relax, and see how it feels to allow our hamstrings and our quads out against the mat. Then tensing our glutes and our hip area, squeezing with all our might, and then releasing on exhale, relaxing the muscles, feeling our sacrum against the mat. We're squeezing the whole bottom half of our body, squeezing our feet all the way up our legs, our calves, our hamstrings, our bottom and our hips, squeezing and then relaxing. Then traveling further up, back of our body, trying to squeeze all the muscles either side of our vertebrae, squeezing our stomach, and then releasing. And then squeezing top of our shoulder blades, in between both our shoulders, the top of the spine, squeezing our chest and our heart, holding any tension there, squeezing a bit more, and then releasing, allowing the heart to open and the shoulders to relax, and the top of the spine to melt into the floor. And then coming across to our left hand and our palm, so if you can squeeze all the fingers and the hand into a ball, and releasing again. Traveling up the arm, squeezing all of the arm, squeezing the left shoulder, and releasing. Traveling across our shoulders to the right hand, squeezing the right hand, squeezing all the fingers into a big fist, and releasing on the exhale. Traveling up the arm, squeezing the whole arm and the whole right shoulder, and releasing. And then traveling up our neck, squeezing the neck and the back of the spine, releasing, opening up the throat, and then bringing awareness into your face, squeezing up the face, squeezing the ears and the mouth and the jaw, scrunching everything on your face into a big tight ball, squeezing, getting all the wrinkles, and then releasing and feeling your skin and all the muscles all around your face relax. Trying to relax the jaw and the tongue. And then allowing your body and your bones to sink deeper into the mat. Feeling the weight of your body. Noticing the rise and fall of your belly as we breathe in softly through the nose. And out through the mouth. And then bringing awareness back into your fingers and your toes. Doing some little circles with our hands and our feet. And bringing our hands above our head, reaching nice and long. And stretching from side to side, stretching the left foot long and then the right foot long. And then rolling over to whatever side is comfortable, making a little pillow with your hand. Curling into a nice fetal position. Taking your time, still keeping your eyes nice and closed. And pushing away from the earth when you're ready. Slowly coming up to a seated position. Still keeping your eyes nice and heavy. And then resting our hands on our knees. Inhaling and making our spine nice and long. Breathing in through our nose, filling up the belly and our lungs. And then exhaling again. And softening the belly. Starting to rub our hands together, building a bit of heat. Rubbing our hands together. And then holding our hands just close to our face without touching the skin. And see if you can feel the energy of your hands against your face, giving yourself a bit of an energetic massage. And start to place the fingers on your face and slowly massaging the forehead with our fingers. Slowly drawing the fingers down past our eyebrows, resting on our eyes, then down to our jaw. Some nice circular movements with our jaw, releasing all the tension. Then continue down the jaw to our chin, so we can even massage our chin. And then move towards our neck, massaging the front of the neck. And then the back, massaging the back of the spine. And then just resting your hands somewhere in your body that needs a bit of healing. Breathing in some love and some energy to that area. And finally dropping our hands in towards our heart, into prayer position. And we drop our head and we bow together in Namaste, thanking everyone who's practicing here for their energy today. And most of all, thanking yourself for showing up to the practice. Namaste.